we're at the CAA. I mean, it's a wonderful theatrical club. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved with it and its history.
Well, yes, it is. I mean, it's got great history, the CAA, but how I first got involved, when I first came into the business, this was a place, the CAA, where you could come to and hopefully get a job. Usually, in my case, it was usually in pantomime or summer season. Now, a lot of the old summer season promoters used to belong to the CAA, and they would say, come and meet me at the CAA. So that was the first time I ever came here. And my first job, I think I got in summer season, was from here. And it was from a couple called Ronnie Brandon and Dickie Pounds, who used to run a summer show called Out of the Blue. And I joined them, and I was with them for 4 years. And that 4 years with them taught me more about the business than I've ever learned since. Really had. We went 4 years, we were at Babacombe Concert Party, right? Concert Hall, they called it, and we were Out of the Blue, the party. But I started there as sort of like second comedian and doing the straight man and feed and all this stuff. I did that for 2 years, and the third year she said, would you like to be principal comedian? Now that was the biggest step up I've ever had in the business. And I was, and I did that for 2 years. And from then I went on and on to other shows, but I've never forgotten Out of the Blue. And we're still all in touch. All the people who are still alive, my dear, you know, we're all still in touch because we were all Out of the Blueites. I think that the CAA was famous for the concert party people who used to come in here, you know, casting their summer shows, you know, because, you know, most summer shows in those days, the small ones, were about 8 people. I had a letter the other day, and I told how famous the CAA was for concert parties. Now, I had a letter the other day from a chap who knows Chris Ellison, the actor, right? And he said, Chris says his family were involved in summer shows, you see. And I thought, I wonder. And because there's a poster up in the, a photograph up in the bar there of Ellison's Entertainers, which is a concert party at the side. And I'd always noticed this particular one because I wrote a show about 2 who were members here, Bert Lee and Bob Weston. And they worked, or Bob Weston did rather, was the pianist for Ellison's Entertainers. And the son of Ellison who put the thing on was John Ellison, the radio broadcaster. So I can't wait to get hold of Chris Ellison and bring him up here and show him that photograph, because it would have been his great-great-grandfather or somebody running it. But that's how far back the CA goes, and its relationship really with seaside shows.
And it's great, isn't it, that the traditions of, you know, the camaraderie, and that still exists very much, isn't it?
They do here, you know. They really do here. And when you come here, there's always someone to chat to. There always is, whether they want to be chatted to or not. You still have a chat with them. But it's a very friendly atmosphere. Everyone seems to know everybody. It's very loyal audience they are to the CAA, because I think the CAA do so many different things outside of our little place here, which is marvellous. First guy who ever brought me here after getting the job with Ronnie Brandon and Dickie Pounds was Jack Warner, the great Jack Warner, who's really found this place for us and sort of sorted out buying it and everything. God knows what it's worth now, but what a spot it's in. Slap bang in the middle of Covent Garden in London. What an address. And it's why so many performers love to come here, because it is a late night drinking with friends, which is so good. That's all part of it, I think.
It's all part of the culture, but you know, we're encouraging obviously younger performers as well to come and join us. It's harder for them, isn't it, now, in terms of how they get their experience, but coming
yes.
and talking perhaps to some of our more mature members.
Yeah, how sweet. Yeah, it's true. But I mean, my son worked in the West End quite a lot. He was a stage manager fairly recently, and he immediately became a member here, and he was always in here, you know, with young actors, because he said it is the only place you can really get a late night drink, and you're welcome, he said. And I said, well, as long as you don't break the place up, you are welcome. But I've noticed that there's an influx now of much younger people, and when they enjoy the atmosphere here, which is impossible not to, when they do leave a show that's in the West End, they still stay members and they come back again. And that's terrific, because it's got to carry on, not because it's sort of ancient and, you know, we must carry on the tradition. It's because it's good fun. Yeah. That's more to the point, and you get a late night drink.
It's funny how we come back to that subject.
I know, isn't it?
But it is about people, isn't it, the club? I mean, it's
that's
about,
exactly, you know, what it is.
Personalities, and sort of, I think in its own way, it's slightly old-fashioned, but
yes.
But those qualities are beautiful, aren't they?
Well, it's old-fashioned in the nicest possible way. It's really old-fashioned in a way that the Grand Order of Water Rats is and things like that. We all know each other without even introducing ourselves, but we all seem to know each other. We get together outside the club, inside the club. They put on so many events, the club here. They've got a terrific membership of people who want everyone to get together. And that's very rare these days, you know, with politics and all that stuff. Never any question of politics or anything like that here, or religion, you know. And it's just a real good mix of interesting people, all with that one interest, the business, the show business thing.
And I think what's lovely also is that on a Monday night, some of the younger performers can come on stage, can have a bit of a practice in front of a friendly audience.
I think it's terrific.
You know, and some of our older performers come on and give us great shows.
I bet they do.
And things that you don't normally, well, perhaps don't see now because variety it has disappeared.
That's right. No, my pianist from the one-man show, he's just applied
William.
William Godfrey has just proposed him, or I proposed him, I think, you know, and he'd be a terrific member here. So I said, you know, you have to do an introductory concert, though, that everyone can see you and either give you that or what, you know. So he said, oh, that's all right, because he does all loads of Noel Coward songs and he's a terrific piano player. So I shall be here for his introductory, I promise you, you know, and I'll stop them applauding too much.
Yes,
because he'll want more money.
Exactly.
I'm not having that, love. No, it'll be great. When you get people like that, this is one of the few places in our business as well, you can always find someone who plays the piano and reads very well and can accompany. When you look at the various jobs in the business that members of the CAA do, you could cast any show. For it, there's some good dancers, good singers, good everything.
As you mentioned earlier, you had some of the biggest casting directors coming in on a Monday night.
You betcha. You know.
But we've got to aim to get those people back in again.
Well, it would be great, because look at this is the stage. Yeah. Now, if this isn't going back to the days of the music hall, what is? You know, this is just like Wilton's Music Hall in the East End. It's a big room with a platform at one end, and that is a music hall. That is where surprise turns and everybody used to come on and had to do their solo acts. Well, I did pantomime at Wilton's last year, and it was extremely difficult because music halls, rather like this place, exactly the same design, they didn't have productions. They just purely had that platform that a solo turn or a double act or something like that would get up and do their stuff. No room to do scenery or anything like that. So this really shows performers, really shows us what they can do with nothing backing them at all. It's just them, their personality, and a friendly audience. And that's the most important thing, certainly right for an introductory to be a member of the CAA. You've got to be able to get up there on your hind legs, haven't you, and give them some clog. And they do. No, this is the second time I've been president of the CAA, which I'm very, very proud about. And how I got involved in it, in the first case, was my dear pal, who was very well known to the public because she was Mrs. Fox in Dad's Army, right? And we both came from Croydon, both Croydonians, and Pam Cundell, of course. And Pam said, well, she said, we were chatting to some of the others, and how do you fancy being the president of the thing? I said, I've never been president of anything, I said. She said, well, we don't want to get Donald Trump. I said, shut up, you. I said, no, wait a minute. She said, I said, I've done it once before. And she said, no, you must do it again. She said, because you were good fun and we all enjoyed having you. And I know you enjoyed it. I said, yes, I did. You know, so that's how I became president the second time. Sadly, Pam's not with us anymore, but to enjoy the year with me, because I was so looking forward to having some fun with her. We always did have lots of fun over the years, you know.
Is this a bit that's censored?
What? Not half. You know. But she was a great girl and a great fighter for the CAA. And I mean, she could never understand, and neither can I, why people who are in our side of the business don't join the club here. It doesn't exactly break the bank, but you meet marvellous people, people who will advise you, people who will teach you various things. I mean, the people you meet here, people, you know, I can't even begin to tell you, but it was the thing of so many people in so many jobs, and you could come in here and you'd be talking to someone and say, do you know, I thought I might put a little bit of a juggling or something, you know, into my act, but I don't know where to go. And they'd say, I'll tell you, he's a juggler, he'll help you, things like that. And I want to look up some old-time monologues, you know, dramatic monologues and stuff like that. And they pointed at me and said, he'll tell you, you know, and all that. But you always get help in some way or the other if you're a member here, and if you turn up all the time. It's great. It's a great atmosphere. It's a friendly atmosphere, and it's a show busy sort of atmosphere.
Brilliant.
I'm so pleased I joined.
Good. Oh, that's lovely.